think
with
of
the bio.
Tsehaitu you.
Yeah, I have it now.
There you go.
So Tsehaitu has a firm working understanding and practice of business fundamentals, statistics, and planning skills.
That's right.
So without further ado, welcome to the show, Tsehaitu.
Tsehaitu. Oh, she said it right there. There you go. That's
Thank
what I'm
you.
talking about. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's
No
been
doubt.
a long day, but blessed to people who are there for you because you're there for them, and because we got a sisterhood. You know, I got a really great birthday present from a friend coming through, and I made it here on time and was still able to do all my other work, so it's good.
So we appreciate you coming to the show.
Of course.
Our little show here, you know. And so I want to jump right into it because one thing that we do here, when we talk weekly, first of all, this has always been my favorite segment of the show. And why it's my favorite segment of the show is because I love to talk to people, get to know them, get to know their stories, right? Because that's the only way we can kind of be enlightened to who this person is, right? We're consuming a lot of media. You know, this is my spiel with media literacy, right? We're consuming a lot, right? So we have to understand it. And so most of the people who come here are people within that industry, whether it be music, entertainment, the things that we see, watch, and follow, right? And so I wanted to bring you here today because, you know, you was at an event that I was at, you know what I'm saying? And you held your own. You had your own. You got you got beat up a little bit. You know, good friend of mine, Mr. Dave Anderson, he beat you up a little bit, the business bully, right? But I believe that, one, you stood your ground, but also you had, you know, an interesting perspective when it comes to unionizing and things of that nature. So first, let's talk a little bit about, one, your name, and then let's transition into kind of like that interest in like unions and what are you doing at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ethiopian, so that's where the name comes from. Tsehaitu. It's very, very Ethiopian. It's like Mary in the in the U.S. It means the sun. My father's Ethiopian. My mom is Black American. She kind of grew up in the 70s, so she wanted to get back to Africa. So I'm a brown baby, for sure.
No
very spiritual background. Basically, I grew up in Philly. My parents met in Hawaii. I moved back out to Hawaii when I was 15 with my single mother and two sisters. Finished high school out there on a tiny rock called Hilo. It's where two volcanoes are in Hawaii. I was the only black girl at a 99% Japanese American school. I wanted to go to Spelman really bad because I used to go to Girls High here in Philly.
Oh, that's what's up.
Wanted to come back. I applied for two schools, University of Hawaii and Spelman. Got into both but couldn't afford Spelman, so I ended up going to Hawaii. I ended up finding ethnic studies in between, also being an artist. You know, I sing, I sew, I do all types of things. So I was always in between apparel design and consciousness.
That's what's
and
up.
the movement.
Woke.
That's where I was born from.
Stay woke.
So honestly, I ended up doing ethnic studies in Hawaii because I wanted to learn about the people there, you know, different diversities, Polynesian, Asian, everything. And I needed to understand them so that I could fit in. Bottom line. From there, I found out about unions. I didn't even know about unions. But someone came to talk to us, and I heard justice. I heard help the people. I heard improve jobs. I was like, bet, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so for several years, I did union organizing with the president of the union. Local 5 Unite here is huge in Hawaii. We have tourism industry, so bartenders and servers are able to make minimum $18 an hour, have full benefits, pension, retirement, everything. That's what unions do in Hawaii. Now, the big conversation is unions, right? I love where we started this whole segment on accountability.
Right.
And how do you get someone to come to your concert? Well, the work that I did in union organizing, because I no longer do it again, I don't do it anymore. I connect people. I'm their accountability coach. I make sure you come out to the thing that I know you need to come out to. And if you don't know that you need to, I find your issues and I make you see what you need to see. Because I know what your issues are because you already told me. So it's interesting as I've moved away from union organizing because I know it's very political, but nothing is perfect. So don't say unions are bad. Don't say the world is bad. Don't say, I mean, some people we could say are bad. But to see things in black and white is only perpetuating the very thing that makes you sad and depressed at night. You know what I mean? So the discussion, what we're talking about is this event, and it's a very one-sided conversation. And the problem is that we just don't know. That's all, and it's a conversation. And what I'm trying to do is take those skills from union organizing and bring them over into the business world, because one of the main reasons I left Hawaii and came back to Philly is because I missed being around brown people. And just as much as now I can hang out all over the world, I can hang out with any type of person, anybody, because I did that with union organizing. It was my job to get to know people. It's also just who I am, because I wanted to fit in, I wanted to understand. So now I'm like, now I want to give that back to somebody, and I'm realizing there's a benefit to coming back into my Black community and transferring those networking skills, coaching skills, and accountability skills. And so one thing I had to do was get my confidence up. So I decided to go to Lincoln University, and it was one of the first times that I had been in a space where people were actually praising me for being myself, because in the past it was always a problem. Wow. And finally I had a group of people, don't make me start crying, because but finally I had a group of, my professors, the dean of the program, different people would just point me out and say, you're phenomenal. Like, don't put yourself down. Don't get down on yourself. I know things are going on and you're stressing, but you are somebody special and you have a lot to give. And I started to slowly feel just like this power in me that I was always there, because I was raised again by the movement. It's always been there. So long story short, I'm now at this place where, I'm building a consultancy firm where I want to coach people and really just be that person that speaks to them every week for an hour. Tell me what your goals are. Tell me what you want to do. Let me help you in whatever way I can, because what I can do is network and build those resources and connect you to those people that you need to build your work. Everybody wants to put on a show on Friday. Why y'all all got to put a separate show on? Right? You want to get somebody to come out, but did you call them or did you text them? Did you just say, oh, holla at me, I got an event? Union organizing taught me that if you want to get people to come out to the movement, to the strike line, to do your Occupy, you got to call them about 5 times. And you're going to have to test them and make sure that they're committed to the movement. It's called training. You don't just get a movement started just because you felt mad. It requires extreme work. I didn't do my creativity when I was union organizer. I was working 70 hours a week, because that's what it requires to do the movement. And it's militant. It's not really democratic, because at the end of the day, you got to follow a leader, because you got to find out which lane you're in. And so when we go back to the union organizing, if you are a worker and there's a management team over top of you, you are a worker. If you are a manager, you are a manager, and your allegiance is to the company. HR is for the company. Don't get it twisted. And all those different things we don't know. Like right now, I work with a student loan doctor, Sonia Lewis. We help people who have student loan debt default, who don't really know what to do, and we're there to coach them and guide them through that. A lot of us, we want to trust somebody that understands us and that's going to respect us, and that's what I'm trying to offer in all the different projects that I do, whether it be I'm working with the student loan doctor, whether it be I'm also an account manager with Rec Philly, which is a creative agency that's specifically for artists, whether it is my own consultancy agency, which is being able to give that hour of coaching a week and let me know what you want me to help you with, whatever it is.
Got you. And I'm listening to you, and I could tell that you're very passionate, and I guess for me, I would like to know, why do you think it's so much push and pull? Why do you believe people bump heads with kind of like the idea of unionizing?
Because they just don't know, and it's a black and I've learned that for a lot of people it's a black and white thing, but I've also talked to people who are not black, and it's just it's a misconceived notion that unions are not here for people. I want us to break down the word union. Go in the dictionary and look it up. It comes from the word unite. It's about coming together. Go study the history. If we didn't have a union, we never would have had a 40-hour work week. Think about it. Obviously everything needs help, and I get if you feel like the union isn't for the black people, but if you sit in a small business space but you want to ignore the fact that there's a bunch of people getting paid minimum wage, but you all about the blackness, sorry boo, but it's a bunch of black people working at minimum wage job. And the reality is there's a huge gap, and we have to recognize that gap in all conversations that we have, and not just, oh, this is Black Wall Street. What you think Black Wall Street was?
Yeah. But playing devil's advocate, right? Because I earnestly believe that we need unions, because I think that's kind of like the part that evens out the playing field, right? And so I'm not against unions, right? But I do see, however, the argument that it's a lot of unions out there predominantly that boxes out people that you're talking about, right? And so how do you fix that then? How do you tell the people that's like, yo man, these unions, how do you do that?
So I was boxed in, and that's why I don't do it anymore. Drop the mic. So there was always a glass ceiling, because I'm a brown female. I can speak. I'm passionate. I really want to get to know people and help them. So I'm really good on the floor. I'm good on the groundwork. I'm good on the calls. I'm good on pushing people. And a lot of people are not good at that. Right. And so I don't get promoted because I can do the work well. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of like unions, we need them, but we need, okay, the real thing is like when I worked in DC for the
keep it 100. This is
when I worked in DC in the federal building. I worked with the Capitol, Capitol building, the white Capitol building, right? Everybody in there got a good pension, except for the cafeteria workers on the bottom floor. Because they're not in a union yet. Because that's a large contract management company that takes care of them. And they give them 10-cent raises every month. And who's in there? Latinos, Eritreans, Ethiopians, Black Americans. Fact. And that's every day. That we had to fight to get the Smithsonian to get their workers, the McDonald workers, and they're all brown. So I'm like, how you gonna hate on that when I was out there every day trying to talk to young bulls, 18, 16, 18, 19, 20, going into their hood, dropping them off, picking them up, building them up as a leader and trying to help them persevere. Now, at the end of the day, I'm thinking about the politics of it all, but I'm just trying to think of what am I giving to them? You know what I mean? And so with working hard, it is hard. So how you transfer that is you got to be an example. Being a leader, being a business owner, that's weight. You're feeding people. You are guiding people. You got to be there. I'm always ready to step in and handle. And I sometimes do it to I mess myself up. And that's why I thank people who always remind me, pay the $20 and teach them how to ask for the $20. And when you want your homie to come to the concert, you call him up, you meet him in person, and you tell him how much I need you to do this. And when he tries to hesitate, you push him because you know he on some black, white stuff or whatever, want to hate, and let him know this is where you need to spend your money. Organize your friends to come to your event because ain't nobody just going to drop just because.
Wow, Black Girl Magic. We need that passion. Where does that come from? Because I feel it's coming from.
Oh man, I also grew up with gurus and spiritual teachers. I used to meditate as a kid. Like my middle name is Om. I lived in ashrams. Like I have a passionate single mother. My grandmother also was a businesswoman, black American, grew up in Lincoln Drive when there were all white people there, owned properties and brought her family out of North Philly. My grandfather worked for Haile Selassie. But unfortunately, we all wanted the 70s to turn into a great movement, and everybody's always like, we're the great movement. We had it already. It's not about, we didn't have it. This is all new. It's all on repeat. So we got to get smarter. It's not about crushing everything. We're going to start all over. It's get smart. Turn to your neighbor. Ask for help. Give them something. Like collect. I got a best friend who put on an event recently because I said I can finally help you because I got a partner. And now we going to make the Sable Collective holiday party pop. And it popped. And that's my best friend. And that's something I've always wanted. And now we can build a relationship where I'm making money. She making money. And there's so many other people in Philly that need to do that. Because again, once us stop everybody trying to have an event on Friday.
Yeah. So
have the event together.
How about that? So the reason why I brought you on this show, right? Because I am a big supporter of me as a male supporting my sisters, right? And what I felt when you was actually at that event was you didn't have the opportunity to voice kind of like your position, and this is why I want to give you this platform. So this is why you're here today, and I think it's important. And I have an issue when I hear, because I'm all for individuality and I'm all for specific gender, but most importantly, I'm for community, and it's not all women that supports the community. It's not all men that supports the community, right? The community is all of us. So I can't 100% stand by just a one movement. You know what I'm saying? Idea or ideology. For me, it's about community. How do we build as a community? Right? And hearing you speak or hearing you not having the ability to speak, for me, I didn't think it was good for the community, right? I felt like you had a voice and I wanted to hear that from you. Now, that's not to say that that event wasn't a great event. I think it was an excellent event because we need to understand how can we build as a people. But again, it's people. And so that brings me to probably one of my last questions. This time flew right by.
Always.
And I'll actually let Sizzle have the last question before I ask this, or after I ask this. But how do we begin to build community around this idea of Black Wall Street?
This may say vain, but I think we need more people like me. More people like me who are willing to be in uncomfortable spaces and speak on behalf of everybody and be willing to learn more, because I was okay with taking a back seat and letting everybody speak. It's fine with me. Yeah. You know, being willing to do the work, being willing to constantly develop myself and check myself and put myself, again, in uncomfortable situations. And now that I've come back to Philly, I've realized that that's one of the biggest things to our detriment, is that we want to stay in comfortable places, which means if you black, you don't want to go nowhere with the white people. And if you white, you don't want to go where no black people are. And unfortunately, growth requires discomfort.
Yeah. So what do you say to basically the naysayers? Or like, that's not gonna, me saying something, that's not gonna do anything, or those people that they are, I guess, shying away from, using their voice because they think it's just not gonna happen.
I mean, you have to be productive about your voice. Clearly, you see, I ain't just talking anyway. We can always code, right? Yeah. And so I think there's something big about being able to listen, being able to tap in so that you can communicate so that the person can hear you. That's what it is. Yeah. Take your time. I mean, the model is based off of a union model. This saved us from death. So there must be some fruit to it. And I think what comes to voice, it also comes to being in conversations with people who are very different from you. Please don't be talking all day to people who say the same thing that you say, because you're not going to grow, because they're just going to repeat you. And that's where it comes into being in these different spaces, because you're going to speak, and people are going to have different reactions. I'm always questioning myself and trying to figure out, did they respond to that way? Did they respond that way? And that's about branding. That's about small businesses. That's about the value you bring to somebody through what you say. It all connects. Business is a relationship. The greatest place to practice how to run a business is through all your relationships.
Girl, magic, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Olives Bobs, the Early Bird. Shout out to, the Early Bird Nation, man. Olive Bob. I mean, it's important for us to have this discourse and allow people to have the ability to use their own outlet and to speak, because that's why I have this outlet. I got a lot to say.
I do too.
And a lot of people try to hush me and shut me up, but it ain't gonna happen, right? So shout out to everybody. Shout out to Early Bird Nation, man. Shout out to Olive Bobs, man, and shout out to you. So before we let you go, how could everyone first let everyone know one last thought. I want you to give them one last kind of like thought from you, and then I want you to give everybody a way that they can kind of contact you, learn more about you, and things of that nature.
Speaking on the word voice, right. I think it's really important to tap into our resources and our friendships, and on a good and on a bad way, and really try to connect more. I'm realizing coming back to Philly that there's so many resources that we can tap into, whether it be generational, the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds, the black, the white, the whoever. Just always know that there are new possibilities, and never feel like your experience is solitary, because I have come to find so many small business owners who think they're going through this struggle by themselves and it's so new. And the reality is you need to speak up, talk, come to me. Let's talk about this, because it ain't that big of a deal and we can get through it because we have a breath. You know what I mean? So find me at TSEHAITU _ on Instagram, because I'm all about that IG. I got lots of pictures. Don't trip. It's just a ring light that I bought for $25 on Amazon. You can get it too.
That is fine. You know what? I got one more thing before you do, because I thought this was interesting. I'm going to put you on the spot here, right? And so I want you to tell me. Let me turn this down a little bit. Now you on the spot. When Mary Poppins and SZA inspire you to sing, what does that sound like? You on the spot. Don't let me put you out there.
Stop. What does that inspire me to sing? Mind you, this dude is on my IG looking at one of the pictures where I was singing in the morning.
I want to hear. Go ahead. Let's go.
You trying to hear me sing?
We do our research. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time. 'Cause you see something bright and you see me. Please bear with my voice. It's going out, but I'm gonna give you some love. There it is.
There you go. Say hi to.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out the show. It's all good.
See
this
that on
is
the
how we do it.
bio.
Shout out
see that
to
on the
Say
bio.
Hi to,
We gotta
man.
put singing on the back burner because you gotta learn business, and that's why I'm here for all the artists to help
you
them
go.
guide them through. Because you can focus on your creativity, and I'll help you.
There you go. There you go.
Awesome,
We're going to have to bring you on the team. Then maybe you can help us out a
Hey,
little bit.
I already saw it, y'all. I was like, let me get on the team. Hold on, let me see what I got.
Shout out. We grinding.
Yes,
we grinding.
yes,
Where he at? He right there.
Beautiful.
Hey, right? Hey. So I'd like to thank you for coming to the show,
Thank
man. This your boy Charles Gregory with the Beautiful.
Lawrence Sizzle.
And we appreciate Say Hi to for coming to. You promise to come back?
I promise again, TSEHAITU_ on Instagram. There's nobody like me.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you about right.
Yes.
And so, I don't want you guys to go anywhere, man. We about to go to another song, man, till we make another transition. And then we got some entertainment news. They got the sizzle coming up. We got a lot of different things to do. But before we go, it's WPPM LP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. This your boy Charles Gregory. And we'll be right back after this. Holla!
If I hit it one time, I'm a pipe.